What's up, guys? Soul Control 871. Let's try this again without it being 35 fucking minutes. Alright, yeah, it was because it's real hard, you know. PTSD has really triggered me up really bad. Anyway, alright, let's get down to it. Today we're going to be talking about disability and medical coding. One of the many things that I hear a lot of in the blog, in the comment section, fat lazy bastard, grifter, lazy, nothing's wrong with you, get a job, go to work. There are a number of different disabilities that I have. PTSD, several herniated discs, which I really don't like talking about because nobody ever seems to believe anybody's back injury. I mean, unless, I think the only back injury that comes with an automatic, oh my God, we believe you, are back injuries that result in like total paralysis. So anyway, let's see, I think I was talking to somebody, yeah, I was listening to somebody, and the topic was about pain, and they were a vet, and they had to deal with their injury. They got an injury overseas, and basically the gist of my comment was that I live with pain every single day of my life, and I mean that every single day of my life. I know sometimes I am regarded as a cynical bastard, I get it. I'm not bright and bubbly, okay? So I'm not bright and bubbly. I do watch a lot of people seem to live rather very happy lives, and I tend to wonder, does the disability, does the pain attribute into this? But I live at pain, varying scales. So it's not like, like tomorrow is July the 5th. I already know that July the 5th, I'm going to be in pain, every single day there's going to be pain. It's just different degrees, different levels of pain. I get it. I mean, I'm not exactly writhing in agony here. I'm not like a fucking bone cancer patient, thank God, But anyway, as far as the validity of my disability, that's probably what a lot of people want to know. So I'm going to shed a little bit of light, if I can, in my own way. Disability is medically coded. I know I haven't watched television in ages, and the TV that I do see, like maybe if I'm like in a cafe somewhere, I really don't see the commercials for it. Although a lot of those trade schools like ITT and MIT or whatever, a lot of them got shut down a few years ago. And anyway, you used to always see commercials for them for a variety of trades. Medical coding and billing was one of them, and I assume still out there, still a need for it. But yeah, disability, it's all medically coded, meaning that in the application there aren't these huge boxes where the applicant goes on at length and on and on and on about what's wrong with them, because with the amount of applications that people get, nobody's got time to sit there and read through all that shit, especially when it's being written by a layman, by the patient. So everything is medically coded. The disc herniations, hypogonadism type 2, bimolar ankle fracture, PTSD, mental trauma, all of this has a medical coded number, okay? So, like, if you, in the detailed forms of the medical disability determinations and stuff like that, everything has a medically coded number to it, okay? Where I ate up a bunch of time before, and I'll see if I can just break it down to you really fast. I know of a guy, and apparently this seems to be the scenario situation with a lot of finger amputees, and maybe even some other physical disabilities. Basically, the long and short of it is that the state, unless you have like bomb diggity insurance, or a very wealthy person, Jimmy Fallon, ring occlusion, Google it. I'm not going to eat up a bunch of time. ring occlusions normally end in finger amputation. The man is very wealthy. He got to keep his finger. Rosie O'Donnell, again, somebody with a whole bunch of money. She had some sort of infection. She cut her finger, bad infection. Normally, this would have gone to amputation to stymie infection spreading, to, you know, save people's lives. And anyway, bunch of money. Now, granted, all of these qualifiers are subject to the limits of medical science. Example, Beau Biden, Lord rest his soul, and Senator John McCain. They both have neuroblastoma, although it might be differences, excuse me. They both suffer from brain cancer. And their in respective cases might be somewhat different, but point is, they're people with a whole bunch of money, top level access to healthcare. That you can't get better healthcare than what the fuck they got. Were it actually medically possible to save their life, I'm sure it probably would have. So I say that to give a qualifier. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Not everything can actually be saved. Okay. Finger amputations. Very rarely will if all 5 fingers have been lost, and again, qualifier of how it was lost and jazz like that, because it's true, you can't always save them, but rarely are ring and pinky fingers. If it's like a person like me, very little money, and I would need the state to pay for the surgery, like how the state paid for my ankle surgery. Very rarely will they pay to put on your 2 fingers. These fingers are, these fingers are considered cosmetic, believe it or not. They will work very, very hard to put on your, definitely your index finger. If they can get the ring, then cool. I mean, the middle finger, cool. And definitely they want that thumb. They want that thumb reattached, and they will pay some money for it. And it's not out the goodness of their heart. The reason is because, again, medical coding. If you have an opposable thumb, that's the thing that, if you have that opposable thumb, then believe it or not, you can be disqualified from, you won't qualify, should I say, for disability, because these fingers are considered cosmetic. It sounds fucked up. I mean, not pure cosmetic. They do add to your grip, but if they can give you an opposable thumb and fingers to work with, then it significantly reduces your chances of getting disability. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say on that, rather than eat up a whole bunch of time and whatnot. So yeah, I say that 4th of July. People blow themselves up every single year, apparently, no matter how many PSAs we listen to. So sounds fucked up. Fingers are going to get lost, eyes, what have you. Things like this are going to happen. The ER room, as I speak, I'm sure is already filling up with, shit that went awry. So, yeah. Let's see, is there anything else I want to talk about? We got some appeal. I got to work on this appeal here. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Try very hard to keep things moving forward, positive fashion. This week, I want to say I was almost dead in the water. Almost dead in the water there. I found that even though you're granted indigency, even though you get a free transcript, they won't give you the copies that you need. The courts that are requesting these transcripts, they want multiple copies. Basically, in short, you're talking about thousands of pages. Well, in my case, it would have been like just under 1,000 pieces of paper, for multiple transcript, multiple copies. You're talking a couple $100 worth of Xeroxing, and I don't have that fucking money, man. And I was very, very much indeed on the precipice of moving to the final phases of the Sober Suicide series and procure the carfentanil heroin. It's a very difficult thing to do. Even though I have it's a long story to it, but I do have access to recovering addicts' phone numbers. As I'm sure, you know, if it does go to that severity where I am forced to take my own life, I definitely don't want to leave a digital electronic trail of a phone number traced back to a person that enabled me to get, you know, things that I needed. So I gotta protect people as I move forward with this thing. Also, not only that, if because they are in recovery, and God only knows how many times there's been relapses, and I got to think about their recovery. That's the point. You call up a recovering addict talking about, give me the phone number to your drug dealer. Guess what? Whether you intended it or not, you just put the thought in their head to relapse. So obviously I can't use any of those channels whatsoever. So I have to go about getting this stuff, should it come to that. But we're packing that away as part of our compartmentalizing. We're packing that away. And what we're going to be focusing on is the next step. Like I say, this Xeroxing, there was no way in the world I could have afforded to do it. But a Hail Mary pass, I was able to locate a resource where I could get this done. So that's what's going to be the focus of the remainder of this week. We're going to copy the transcripts we have, request the transcripts we need, get everything copied and delivered to its destination. So, you know, that's our focus. And but yes, it was very much indeed a close call where things were almost dead in the water, where I was, you know, almost ready to go to the final phase of sober suicide. And then I don't want to do that. Again, I'm not going to talk about quality of life. That's a whole nother aspect. We've already been talking about it on the blog here. Quality of life. How long do I want to live the way I'm currently living now? The joy, the trauma of the abuse that I have, the poverty, the abuse, and what I have to live with for presumably the rest of my life. I try not to think too far ahead down the line like that. Let's just keep it focused right now on the next step of the appeals process, so that I don't abandon all hope. And to give you guys a little cheery upper, I'm not one for quoting scriptures and things like that, because you guys know anyway. But I'm trying to be positive here and leave you guys something that's kind of good. So as I was able to secure my source of Xerox, like, you know, then suddenly a guy walked by me with a t-shirt on that says, "We walk by faith, not by sight." And I thought that was nice, because literally, that's why I reached out to that resource for Xeroxing. You know, that there was absolutely no guarantee. And the point, whatever the future holds for me, again, like I've been saying, I want to be able to say I tried every last single viable option that is open to me. So there can be no statement of he should have done, he should have done, he should have done. You know, that's why I call the suicide number, you know, for you guys. I understand I wasn't woe and doom and gloom during the call. The call probably had a vibe of an interview, you know, and it probably put the telephone operator a little off. You know, like, this isn't a typical call. Normally people are calling, you know, very, very distraught, you know. But I just simply want you guys to understand that not even suicide outreach numbers, they can't help this. Poverty, tyranny, oppression, the mental scars of abuse. Okay, I believe there is a senator. What is his name? But he has found himself in the center of the Ohio State sexual abuse scandal. Another Jerry Sandusky, or I guess in his particular, what was this guy, McQueary, the guy who who knew of it, allegedly. And this senator is being alleged to have known of the sexual abuse. Sexual abuse that happened to me. I've blown the whistle to everybody I can possibly think of. My public defender, Trenton Special Victims Unit. I tried to get through to Trenton's Special Victims Unit. I was blocked. I was not sent through. The person working the phone, they just simply claimed to make a couple of notes and then hung up on me. I've called the FBI with, I think I called the Trenton Bureau of the FBI. They don't care. I even went so far as to telephone. It's been a while since it's happened, but somewhere here in New Jersey there were either inmates or prostitutes. The point is, people that were who traditionally have very, very low credibility when bringing sexual abuse and rape allegations. So I even reached out to that police department that seemed to helm that investigation. I wanted them to help me. Nobody's ever going to help me, and my abuser will never be brought up on charges. Just like Aaron Bowes and Lisa Wachowski and Jewish Family Services, they will walk away perfectly clean. I am not seen as somebody that can be victimized. I mean, for Christ's sakes, doesn't anybody find it strange that Me Too is eerily devoid of men? In its early days, the few men that did raise up, Corey Feldman, excuse me, I think Haim is the one that's passed away. Corey Feldman, Terry Crews. I don't know if Todd Bridges became vocal again, but it's well known that he, in his book Killing Willis, in his book, he talked about the wealthy, the oligarchy, movie producers, and the things that, the abuse. Okay, I don't want to get too deep here because so it triggers, you know, so whether it's my sexual abuse, their sexual, it just triggers and it fucks me up really bad. But apparently we men are being seen as somebody that cannot be victimized. I guess John Mayer summed it up very well in his song, you know, boys you can break, find out how much they can take. Boys will be strong, and boys are always expected to just soldier on. Well, I'm sorry, this soldier is definitely wounded, and I don't know how to heal myself. All I can do is make the next step on faith and not by sight. Total Control, 871.